Back at it again this morning. Got the tractor out. Gonna load up some of this wood and twigs, take them over to the fire pit where we keep everything. Just a convenient spot to put everything wood related right now. But nice morning, a little fresh, but that's not a bad thing. Good fresh morning is good for the body. It kind of wakes it up a bit and makes it ready to go. So I always like coming out in the morning like this when it's fresh. But don't always get the opportunity with kids, of course. The snow has been melting like mad, as you can see. There's hardly any left out here now. Just in a few more of the shady areas, or areas that drifted a little more. But our potted tree field is half all melted already, so we're going to have to watch the water situation here pretty good. Because we don't want anything drying out before our irrigation's turned on. It's one of the toughest parts of the year for potted trees and shrubs is spring and fall, just because we don't have the irrigation, so we have to watch out what's going on. You know, we don't need things drying out, because if they dry out this time of year especially, they're done. And yeah, so everything looks pretty good and moist right now, but well, it's going to take us a few more double-digit days and it'll start to dry out. But still a fair bit of snow on the far side there where it's a little more shady, but the coastal side here is melted down pretty good. It's going to be another good year for potted trees, I think. We got another about 3,000 trees coming for planting out. Probably not quite all of them will go in pots. We'll probably plant a few of them straight out because they're a little bit bigger, but we'll see how it goes here. Really have to think about that deer fencing here soon. Ground is starting to thaw a little bit, so we'll need to get on that deer fencing pretty good here. Want to upgrade our fencing around the potting area here too, just because this is always kind of written down as a temporary thing. Want to switch to something a little more permanent. Snow fencing has never been quite good enough as such. It's been good for keeping out the little critters like bunnies and such, but the deer just jumped over it, hence why we have the string over the top. But that hasn't been foolproof either. There's been a couple of deers in there, but they haven't done too much damage. But still, we need something a little bit better. This isn't quite tall enough. I mean, the string dips down to 5 feet, and if a deer's desperate, they can jump over that, no problem. But yeah, so I don't know quite what we'll do for proper fencing yet for around the potted tree field here. We've got a bunch of chain link fence, but it's only 6 foot high. So I'll have to do something to extend the posts and put something over top if we use that, or you know, maybe we'll try the other idea we are having is the high tensile fencing. We need 5 or 6 strands across it, and probably some proper fencing at the bottom, just to make sure the smaller critters don't get in so much. But still working that out. I'll try something new this year and see how it goes. I'll probably just leave the this fencing up just as a kind of a backup, keep a more plants that are a bit more prone to deer damage in this area, and then keep some of the ones that are less prone in the new fencing to see how they do. Yeah, deer can be a real pain when it comes to the potted trees. A couple of times they got in here, not last year but the year before. They did some serious damage. They ate down the roses I had back then really bad. Probably partly that, and partly them drying out in the fall that killed them all off. I ate a few other things too. Mountain ashes they chewed back pretty bad. Set them back probably a good 6 months. Saying that, they chewed them down. A few other things they were chewing down too. Can't remember everything quite right now, but yeah, it's definitely a bit of a setback that year, but we got through it and improved the fencing. So at that point we just had the snow fence, we didn't have the string along the top. So now that we've got that, that's helped for sure. Hasn't eliminated it, but hasn't hurt it either, so improvement, but you know, still need to improve a little bit more yet. Also this year I'll need to expand the potted tree field significantly to fit in another 3,000 trees. Probably expand it to the south here. Have to move our dirt piles, but that's a minor inconvenience with a skid steer. Doesn't take long to move that. We'll probably bring it all the way out close to the end here. We'll just leave a little path down the end here so we can drive down. Clear the low-lying willow branches there just to make sure we have a path through. But the last, I don't know, 10 feet or something here we can open up for a driving lane and can have the potted field come down to somewhere here. Give us a bunch extra room, and then this year we'll have to clear out the trees in behind the field there, open that up so we could make some more room for the potted tree field and also grow out field. So grow out field's on the far side there. You want to expand that a little bit as well. The grow out field has been really well, other than a little bit of deer damage on some of the pine. It's so much easier to manage stuff when it's in the ground, yet last summer we were watering it maybe once a week, if that, and everything there was doing good, whereas the pots, it was daily, if not twice a day during the hot summer there. So really easier to manage stuff in the ground, but of course stuff in the ground, you can't sell it straight away, so it's a bit of a trade-off. The potted field here is pots are always ready to sell, whereas in-ground stuff, you know, to sell it you have to dig it and put it in a pot or ball and burlap it. So it takes a little effort to get it ready for sale, whereas pots are always ready to go. So some of the trade-offs we're looking at here, you know, just how we manage with so many pots, how we balance that with in-ground trees, and you know, we need the pots for cash flow now, we need the in-ground stuff for cash flow later. It's not been easy go at it, just because, you know, we're planning on building this up over several years, and then of course with our income loss from COVID for our main line of work, which was data wiring and that sort of thing, we kind of had to jump into this full tilt a lot quicker than we were planning. But you know, it's been not bad. We've almost got it to a point where it's full income for me. My dad still has to do the data wiring a little bit longer here. He's got a few guys that he's doing a little bit of work here and there for, which helps out for sure. But yeah, it's been good with the pots. Definitely our biggest seller has been the blue spruce. You know, we bring them in, grow them out for a year or two, and then sell them on. We have quite a good inventory to go this year. Kind of surprising to me though, the white spruce haven't sold quite as well. We got lots of those left. Haven't really sold that many of them, when in a lot of cases, you know, for shelter belts and stuff, white spruce is just as good as blue. But you know, sometimes things are just down to preference, and blue spruce is definitely add a little more colour, so sometimes it's just down to aesthetics, you know, people like it a bit better. I have quite a collection of pots to go this year. Have to get a bunch more though. We need a whole bunch more of the 1 gallons. We don't have many of those left. Fortunately, we have a greenhouse that we've been buying them from. They get a whole bunch of their pots back, and they just sell them off for cheap just because they get more than they need. So been able to buy those off of them, which is great. It's really helped us out last year, especially with the pot shortage from the manufacturers. We were quite worried last year until we got contact from the greenhouse there, and we found someone else online that was selling a whole bunch of the bigger pots here. But yeah, last year it was a case of the manufacturers had back orders lasting 2 years. So I mean, if you didn't order 2 years ago, you weren't getting anything, which is quite shocking, really. You know, especially to a business like ours where we don't have the volume to buy direct, so we have to rely on our wholesalers in the middle, and you know, they couldn't get the pots, but at least we were able to get used ones. You know, that took the pressure off anyway. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape for pots, other than we need some more 1 gallons. There's a bunch back there, as you can probably see, but with 3,000 trees coming this year, we need quite a few more. Need to clear out the potting shed too. It's always been a little bit of a mess in there. Tried to clear out a little bit of it last year, but definitely needs a little more time and effort there. Want to get in the greenhouse again at some point as well. It's hiding back there. It's a good place to seed a few things out and get them ready to go. Really wish we had a fixed greenhouse, not a mobile one. A little bit better insulation when it's on the ground. This one here, overnight temperatures inside get pretty much to outside ambient temperatures, so you know, until it stops freezing outside, there's not a lot you can do in there unless you heat it, and the only heat we have available is propane or electric, and both those aren't cheap, so we want to avoid that for the most part. But we'll try and seed a few things out there. You know, maybe we'll try a bunch of trees seeds this year for that. But yeah, it's something we want to try, seeding out our own trees, but we definitely can't grow them as quick as our supplier does. It's quite amazing how good they do. You know, for us, we can get a spruce seedling to, you know, 2-3 inches in a year. They get theirs up to, you know, 8 to 10 inches tall in a single year. So they've really got their game plan down and execute it to perfection to get that done. But anyway, I should probably stop talking now and get to work. Beautiful morning. It's been a beautiful week. Really glad that the weather's picked up now. So feels so much more like spring. It was a tough winter with all the snow and the cold, just because I couldn't get out as much as I'm used to. I really love it outside, and being cooped up inside for so long definitely takes a toll on you. But so glad it's spring. Definitely has given me a bit of an emotional boost and pulled me out of the winter blues. So onward and upward, I guess, as they say. It's crazy to think that we're 3 weeks away from irrigation now, potentially. So really looking forward to that, and really looking forward to getting a soil delivery in a couple of weeks, and mulch delivery. We're going to mix in a little bit of mulch with our potting soil this year. It's a really good thing to help the trees out. It holds on to moisture really good. It provides some nutrients as it breaks down, and really helps improve the drainage. Some of our pots haven't drained the greatest last year or two, which has been a bit of a challenge. The potting mix we had last year was it's kind of interesting. It held on to moisture well, but the top of it dried out quick, so we couldn't quite balance the moisture properly, because you know, the top couple inches dries out, you water it, and next thing you know, you're overwatering it because the bottom's so damp still. So I'm going to add the mulch in this year, see how that impacts things. But even so, with our watering troubles, we didn't really lose much. We didn't have any issues with it particularly, because we were able to catch it enough, and for the most part, trees and shrubs are pretty hardy for watering. You know, as long as they're not sitting in water, they'll be okay. And as long as they don't dry out completely, they'll be okay as well. But anyway, back to work. Till next time.